welcome back to day 2 of IWCA, where we're about to get in our third Assassins Mode matchup of the day between Southeast Asia and the CIS. There's a lot of questions here in this tournament. What Assassins will be good? But the biggest question that we have to hit first is stress. Why is LeBlanc not in S tier on your Assassin tier list?
Now, that one I can answer a lot better. If you'd have posed it, why is she B tier, I would have struggled. She is not S tier to me because we will see when she is finally picked in an actual Summoner's Rift game that the ability to single carry a game on a champion like LeBlanc is going to be outdone by the strength of tanks and wave clear mids. There is sheerly, in my opinion, not going to be enough carry potential from one single champion to class her as S rank. She's strong, don't get me wrong, but I don't think she's S tier.
But you put her on B tier.
Yeah, that was my mistake. See, that was my mistake.
I mean, you sound like you have arguments, you know, but it's B tier. You just hate LeBlanc.
You put her under Echo, now, Rengar, Talon, and Zed.
Okay, now what you gotta realize is I cast a lot of European Challenger. We've got like games where like Godbro goes 5-0 and then ends the game 5-10 on LeBlanc.
All right.
So I mean, I've seen a lot of LeBlanc fails. In my mind, very difficult to put her in.
Absolutely fair. Of course, you guys are free to check out the article yourself on eu.lollysports.com and grill Stress on all of his personal social media accounts.
Yet on some of this
it's okay. But we're going to focus back in because it's not EU Challenger. It is, of course, IWCA. And I want to talk about this matchup, specifically looking at the mid lane. Kira, not known as an assassin player. How do we think this guy's going to fare?
I think he's most likely going to go for a very simple champion, not really an assassin champion, like maybe Diana, maybe Kassadin. Even though they are all assassins, they're more like laid back, where you just farm and then scale better than the other guys that want to like do solo kills and kill you early game and do stuff.
What an excellent adjective, laid back. Usually we're like conservative, you know, kind of. He's like laid back.
You know, when you're you go as a player, you sit down, you like put your chair back, lay there, you know, and just farm for the first 6 levels. And then like get your
I didn't realize there's like a physical thing to go along with it, and now it makes a lot more sense. But it's good that you bring up Kassadin, because Optimus on the side of the Southeast Asian side was known as OP-timus for something like insane Kassadin plays back in 2014. That was a long time ago, but could we see Kassadin come out?
I mean, the problem for me is it takes a little bit too long, whereas you got these Dianas in the mid lanes, which, you know, is so strong right now. We've seen the 2 teams that pick Diana just dominate with it because of the shields. I mean, Kassadin, to get to a point where he can survive and then kill you, takes so long. You need like 2 items.
It's also the fact that he's more of janitorial duty. Like, yeah, he can come in and nuke you and blow you up, but if Kassadin is waiting on kind of second rotation of cooldowns, you know, if he disengages from a fight and he's kind of hanging around, well, it's not just that. His team's going to be dead because everyone else is going to blow up. He'll be like, this is great. I got nothing to stall time for me to come back in here.
Honestly, Kassadin is a good pick, and I feel like it fares very well against Diana and a lot of other champions, but it's a very risky blind pick, and you don't want to go Kassadin into a Pantheon mid or something along those lines. You're just going to get destroyed.
We're going to have to see if Kassadin comes out, because of course the players are about to get into champion select, so we're going to see who assassins the hardest between the Vietnamese All-Stars and the CIS All-Stars. Let's send it back over to the casters.
Thank you very much, Caesar, and good afternoon, esports fans. I'm Devin Pyrotechnics Young, and of course, joining me is Zach, a Rusty Pie, coming over from the analyst desk. You ready to jump right into the action, get your hands dirty?
Yeah, absolutely. See you against CIS. Very happy to be casting an Assassins game in particular. I may not like Assassins in solo queue, but when it's all 10 of them, it's very exciting.
Yeah, well, you know, your tier list so far, 2 out of 3 ain't too bad. We have seen Rengar played. It just hasn't had as big of a splash, but, you know, all preferences aside. Let's go ahead and meet our teams facing off in this third Assassins mode matchup. On the blue side of the Rift for Team Fire, it is the Southeast Asian Vietnamese All-Stars, which means in the top lane, it is QTV of the Boba Marines. In the jungle, Levy from Sky Red. In the mid lane, Optimus, also known as OP-timus, also from Boba Marines. And the AD carry, Celebrity from the Saigon Jokers. And his support, Ron OP, also from the Saigon Jokers.
Potentially a good Assassins team, but on the red side for Team Ice from the League of Legends Continental League, it is going to be the CIS All-Stars, and it's Smurf in the top lane from ANX, Zanzara from Vega Squadron, Kira from Albus Nox Luna, Lex from Gambit Gaming, and Edward also from Gambit Gaming.
Of course, Lex will eventually be joining onto Vega Squadron, so him and Edward will definitely have a little bit of synergy to go on, but it's all assassins all the time this mode, not your typical summoners. And of course, if you guys want to know who to vote for, or rather who you think is going to take the victory, we have our hashtags SEA win, of course. If you think the Southeast Asian All-Stars are going to be able to pull out a win here, Team Fire's looking good, But CIS, you know, they're a pretty big powerhouse in their own right. If you guys think they can win that one, hashtag CIS win is the one you want to be sending out on Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, a very experienced team is the CIS as individual players, but you can't actually look past the C roster. All of them have a lot of experience, it seems, actually playing those assassins. Even their top laner, I believe, had a stint playing mid, so they've all tried their hand at those particular champions.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to go back to Optimus's Season 2 Kassadin play. We haven't seen too much Kassadin right now, but it is, of course, available, and we'll have to see as we get into champion selection if he's going to be opting to lock that one in. Ron OP, though, I think he might be the secret weapon for this team.
Yeah, Ron OP may well be that player. Of course, Challenger playing a lot of assassins as we are finally starting to see all the champions picked and or hovered.
Oh, got a few lock-ins already. Okay, so we'll take a look. Support side, Edward, you might recognize that name. Goes ahead and locks in the Pantheon support, and we have what looks like to be our first Master Yi of the assassin mode.
Whoa, I'm a little bit perplexed with why Lex is the one locking in Master Yi and going for Smite. This could be interesting. Yeah. Also, where is my Diana?
Yeah, it's a little surprising we're not going to be seeing that particular champion right now, considering what it was able to do last game. The LeBlanc, definitely not surprised, but a mirror match between Optimus and Kira. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the LeBlanc mirror matchup could be quite heavy hitting. Of course, the exact same spell combos on each other can get creative and attempt to outplay. It seems like Team Ice have got something in the water over there, though, with the Shakos also being around. Bit confusing after the last time we saw it.
Well, you know, Carbon, he did try to go in and then pretty much gone out several occasions, but we'll see if Zanzara is able to pull something a little bit different. The Akali is actually what surprises me the most on the side of Smurf. We already saw how that matched up against the Pantheon last game.
Yeah, Akali it does a lot of damage, right? It's got a lot of, I guess, 1v1 potential when you start getting those items, but a Pantheon is a Pantheon. And if you try and trade with him, he will actually just press his W key and stun you, and then just hit you with all of the whizzy ones, as Atlas calls it, and spears everywhere.
Yeah, and you pretty much can't really stop that from coming. Even if you throw down the Twilight Shroud, you're still able to just knock him damage down, and that's going to be hard. We'll have to see if Smurf's got something else up his sleeve, and maybe he's looking to get, you know, some help from his teammates. Once again, guys, don't forget those hashtags, hashtag SEA win or CIS win, depending on if you think Fire or Ice is going to take this one away. Team Fire's way up on the board right now, 5-2 in the scoreboard, but this could definitely be the CIS's win here if they do have some cheesy strategy that we were not expecting.
That's right, the hopes and dreams of Team Ice are kind of just behind the CIS team, and if they can't actually get themselves into the bracket on the 4th day, they need to find a way to beat CIS, so maybe the rest of Ice is hoping they lose a little bit here.
Could be. Little tactics in there. See what the start is for LCL as they send themselves 3 top and 2 towards the bottom, but is the 5-man invade for Team Fire right now.
Those two are not in the bush. The ward will spot them, unfortunately. They're having a good dance, too.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt a dance battle.
Definitely not. It's a gentleman's game to not try and get the damage out early when you're too busy working your feet. So we'll see where they decide to make their next move. Looks like it's back towards the jungle. Kira might face check this, though.
He's just scouting for vision. Of course, the CIS team or the LCL team are actually setting up that double jungle strategy. So the Shaco will be starting on his red side. I wouldn't be surprised to see him immediately rotate to blue. And then we've got Lex who has Smite, so we have to question where he's actually going to start. And if Levy's able to get the buff, or if Master Yi can smite it away.
Yeah, I would be really curious to see what Lex decides to do this game, if he actually does stay in lane and then use that smite later on, you know, for some counter jungling or for some buff stealing. This ward spotting here, Levy's actually waiting out in this brush, but you can see
Lex wants to smite it.
There we go. Start this one off. We'll see if Lexi's just outside the vision. The ward will spot him, but he moves forward. He's got that smite available, goes in, and he can't quite get it. Levy takes away the blue.
Yeah, so Levy does get it. This could actually be quite a bad thing for the LCL team, simply because it's a Master Yi who doesn't get to start with the camp, and he also used his smite, so not going to be available. But Zanzara being a little bit cheeky. Remember, he's the Ivan innovator.
Well, he is time looking to make Shaco great again, but forces a flash at a QTV. That's the end of that gank.
Yeah, they're not going to find anything. Zanzara will continue to move, though, towards the blue buff as, once again, unfortunately, Master Yi ruins it.
Yeah, just almost the League of Thunder Rose. Last time we had one Storm Raider Surge. This time it's just one for a battle, but I suppose it makes sense on Master Yi. Alpha strikes in. That didn't make as much sense as he backed away, and Celebrity's on the chase. We haven't talked about this Nocturne yet, but he's getting a little bit low. Edward, he's the one really body blocking everything as they sidestep from Ron OP's charm.
Yeah, the red side just generally getting bodied overall. There's nothing they can do, and we have to highlight this, I guess, 2v2 matchup. Nocturne, the first time we're going to be seeing him. very good assassin at level 6, but up until that point, will be using all of his mana running into a spot of bother unless his team comes to help, and they are.
Oh, Eddie, he gets charmed. They turn on Celebrity, though. Those autos are real. The teleport's coming in, but it might be too late. First blood, however. Lex is able to pick it up, but gets equalized by Levy, and now Rana P being chased down by Kira. The chains will end. They finish the job, and an auto kill, or auto attack for a double kill on Kira.
Kira is a mathematician, throws out the chains and does the no-look as if it were an explosion to follow up with the double kill as well, saving all those spells, and LCL actually kicking it off the right way as a counter gank to Levy's Kha'Zix.
Yeah, nice to see Kira utilizing that teleport as well early on, because Optimus, you know, he went for the much more aggressive actual summoner spell, if you will. But let's take a look at how it all went down again, because it looked like Lex, his days were numbered. Edward just behind him.
Yeah, exactly. And this starts with the charm actually connecting, but Celebrity not respecting that Master Yi. So they do get the first kill in almost the second. As watch the badassery. But never mind.
Yeah,
it's
back
continuing.
to the LeBlancs. There's the Ignite burn, but Optimus, he has a slightly better advantage here now that QTV, though, is in a 1v2 situation, forced back from the Shaco box, getting chased under tower, and he actually is able to get away. Even lands a parting shot.
And they both get away, so the camera panning doesn't actually mean too much in the end.
That was disappointing.
It was a little bit lacking. Maybe it's the fact that the Assassins just take far too long to scale with the champions they have chosen.
Lethality. It's an unfortunate thing, too. They've limited the scaling.
Also, I agree with Vedius. They should all be spamming long swords. There should be no lethality purchased early.
There you go. It's the good old 1v1 strategy we saw a little bit of yesterday. All the swords.
All of them.
Well, speaking of early damage, a lot of the summoners are already burned right now, so you'd think people would be taking a step back just a second. CIS, they do have the gold advantage, but it's so early on, right? Celebrity's waiting in the wings here as Edward and Lex are cautiously stepping forward. Ron's trying to bait.
And don't be fooled, it's not a jungler. It is still a bottom lane Nocturne. My immediate thoughts go towards him jungling as well.
Yeah, I was wondering, where's the AD carry? Oh.
Yeah, but we're going to have a pretty slow start to this game. I think reminiscent of the last one, the Akali and Pantheon will hit each other a few times, but no one really dies there, as they are going again with Optimus.
You say no one really dies there, Rusty. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Celebrity gets the kill credit, and Levy's coming in. It's still a 3v2 until the LCL realizes maybe we shouldn't keep pushing.
Yeah, and another good move this time from the C team as LeBlanc from their side actually comes down. It's really hard to keep track of mirror matchups, as they may actually meet each other here.
Would be LeBlanc. Oh, the chains. Optimus steps outside the range. Levy
Kira's
tags in.
man.
He wants to go back. Whoa, Kira! The honey fruits popped. Levy's going to try to get the heal. He has to hop over. One more auto attack would finish the job, but Kira's not able to close the gap. Meanwhile, Lex is 1v2, and Rano P takes him down.
No, they do get a kill. It was close, especially even in that top lane. Smurf has about 10 health to his name, but everyone gets out after a single further kill goes on to Lex. Not having the best time, but I'm honestly not surprised, as he is a Master Yi.
Yep. And timely spell shield from Celebrity there. Was able to stop the chains from doing anything to him. Very even start, very close on the kills. We'll see if that's about to change as Kira is worse for the wear. Does have the level advantage, though, and Optimus now has to back away. He's equalized.
Yeah, Kira hits the bounce. The LeBlanc mid lane 1v1 is a giant mind game. And at the end, at this stage anyway, having a Negatron cloak will ultimately be the difference. Any trade that even goes the exact same amount of damage or spells that connect, Kira will always win it.
Yeah, not to mention, Darksteel doing pretty good work when you got 2-0 to start this game. So Kira, not known as an assassin player, but he's definitely made this LeBlanc work well for him. And he's even forced Optimus to back away, building that farm advantage for the time being.
What is that?
Minion kills. They're not very important in this mode, I understand.
But that's why we're starting to see so many LeBlancs and why it is in most people's S tier in their tier lists. That wave clear means that you don't actually need to even build AP. However, in this mode you have to, because you have to be a man.
Yep. You can kill those Negatron cloaks, but you have to turn them into an aggressive item. We'll expect to see the Abyssal Scepter soon. As QTV heads back up towards the top to deal with Smurf, who dashes in. Twilight Shroud's down, and QTV has actually not been able to get too much. Does get a stun off, but the dash comes in again into the bush. But there's Vision spotting him out, and he's got backup, so Smurf backs away.
Yeah, times it really well. Of course, all three dashes from the Akali ultimate user Zanzara will be here, and they will be accidentally 2v2ing as we're about to see it.
Zanzara poofs, and he jumps back in. They turn for Smurf, and Levy gets the kill. Now Zanzara's isolated, and he's gone down. That's a double kill for Kha'Zix.
Yeah, Kha'Zix patience pays. Ice lose 2 of their members, and very well executed once again from the GPL side. Z doing work.
This time, though, Optimus has the jump on Kira. They're just trading autos as they were out of spell rotations. Kira is going to have to hop. And he actually is able to escape and even burned the Ignite. Meanwhile, back down bottom side, Edward is exhausted. They just gun for him, and Celebrity finishes him off. Lex isolated now. Will go down, not before he picks that up. Ron OP finishes him off, but man, he made the best out of a 1v2.
He definitely is. You've got to give some credit to Lex. All things considered, champion choice considered, the fact that he is somehow in this bottom lane still makes it work for Kira. Here we go.
And the chains, point blank. Ron OP is going to nail the charm, but the distortion, the dash, the auto, it follows! And Kira picks up the kill.
The slightest amount. He almost got out alive there as well, Ron OP. Does not. Kira now 3-0. Didn't have to use his flash, so might have been able to still chase him in the end. Good moves from the mid laner of the LCL.
Yeah, nicely played. And, we really didn't expect necessarily a flashy assassin play coming out of him. Might have been not in his wheelhouse, but it turns out that this LeBlanc is doing him some serious favors right now. On the other side, Levy is the one who's contributed the most to the kill score on the side of the Southeast Asian All-Stars. Still not the only one. That bottom lane's been doing a little bit of work itself.
There's definitely a lot more fighting than what we saw in the last one, this early in the game anyway, as Kira's just having a giggle, as it wasn't actually Kira. So Pantheon has got his ultimate.
Even more distortion. Okay, Celebrity's going to run headlong into this and right into Edward. Spell Shield does nothing. Kira's going to take another kill. Scribbles down another name in his death note, 4-0.
Yeah, good night, Nocturne. Level 6 doesn't actually make a difference when running away from people. And again, this is the common trend we're going to see from all these assassins.
Oh, and Smurf's going to try and tag in onto Optimus, who has no idea he's here until right about now. That's going to burn the flash, and with Levy around, Smurf won't go any further. 7-6, though. Very even for 10 minutes in. We've been seeing lopsided games.
Yeah, it definitely is. The bottom lane has a lot of kills from the side of Team Fire, whereas Ice is spread through the middle lane and the Master Yi. The difference here is how they're going to use these threats. Nocturne and Ari need their ultimates. Kira can just show up.
Pretty much, and he's going to have teleport back in just a little while. Meanwhile, though, QTV is getting the 1v1 on Smurf. We've just seen the scattered 1v1s, but what's going to make the difference is all these roams. Zanzara is heading up towards the top side. They own the vision in this jungle. 10 minutes into this game.
They're sending 3 up here, but once again, Levy, right place, right time.
Flash jump, Smurf! In the Twilight Shroud, he's gone down, and the man drop comes from around the side. Edward looking to take down QTV. Pantheon on Pantheon, but they brought friends to the party, and Zanzaro get his clone popped.
And that is not the kind of fight that they want to be taking when QTV is already doing this much work. Now, Lex runs the risk of being dove and has to be careful. However, he wants to fight them.
He does. It's a few auto attacks that make him think twice. He alpha strikes to dodge the charm.
That's the AD carry mechanics. Edward still looking for something, but there's a lot of minions, and the tower should go. Zanzara just doesn't really have health, so I'm not sure what his plan is here.
Yeah, just kind of waiting around in the wings. He's got a lot of swords, but I don't think he really has too much of a plan right now. Kira is going to be coming up, but Levy and QTV are already backing away. It seems like LCL team's a bit slow on the draw. We'll see if it works out. Edward trying to stop the backs, and it looks like he's succeeded. Kira comes around. Edward's going to pay with his life, however. And can Kira make the 1v2 here? Zanzara's only been able to show face and cause a distraction. It looks like the answer is yes.
That is a monstrous LeBlanc now for the LCL side. Kira 6-0, and he is definitely getting those stacks, Pyra.
Oh, yeah.
As the trade is still going to be there. However, they're pushing. C have got a game plan, and they're sticking to it.
It's all about the objective game for this team. So 2 tower kills now. They'd already gotten the first tower blood. For the Vietnamese All-Stars, CIS have just had to fall back here, and Lex is in serious danger of being dove. He nails, it's nailed by the charm, but all of a sudden, Alpha Strike buys him half a moment, nothing more. And Optimus picks up his kill, the first kill for that LeBlanc.
That's a feels bad, man. This Master Yi has been completely left on his own. Edward, now River Pantheon.
And River Pantheon not necessarily doing the work they needed, and Optimus is gonna fall down, and as I say it, the caster curse becomes real, and Edward picks up a kill. However, Celebrity's caught out as well, and Kira, 7 on the game. He's godlike at 12 minutes.
Yeah, he better go back and get a Mijo Soul Stealer after he deals with Ron. Smurf's also here. There will definitely be an attempted fight.
They jump right on him. Levy trying to save his life here by pushing Smurf back and away, but QTV has hopped right in on the Twilight Shroud. Unfortunately, he nails the wrong Shaco. And Kira tries to hunt one more cheeky kill. Thinks better of it, and he will be going back along with the GPL team.
Yeah, that's right. Again, you have to respect the amount of stacks that Kira does have in his inventory and all of the control that he is starting to ooze to the rest of the lanes. We are going to see this dive again onto Lex.
Oh, I'm going to cover my eyes.
You just have to feel so bad for the man after the charm connects. There is no hope for him, except that they are able to turn this around. And again, that River Pantheon that we were alluding to before is able to have utility in, I guess, the standard support losing the game in solo queue fashion. Comes down to act like he's helping, but really he's just stealing the kills that his team's getting for him.
You might as well just start building damage, right? That's what the assassin mode's all about. Since you don't have the option to play a much more defensively minded game, the serrated Dirk for Edward, because he couldn't quite keep getting enough long swords. And I'm a little disappointed that Kira did not opt to finish the Medjai's. He's still sitting on a fully stacked Dark Seal at the moment. So 10 to 10 in kills. We are at a very close game right now. But the towers are making all the difference for the Southeast Asian All-Stars. Now another kill might happen. Lex is seeing the pass flash before his eyes, and before the teleport channel completes, he's fallen down, but it was a double teleport all along. Kira and Smurf double up to take down QTV, and they even bring Smurf to the party.
Watch out, Pantheon.
Eddie! He stepped right into it, but this time he's the one who pays with his life. Celebrity takes the kill. Kira is gonna fall. It's a double kill over to Optimus, who's on the run. Smurf dashes. Smurf finishes the shutdown.
He's not done either.
And now he's on to Celebrity, who just has not had a break this game. And he's actually going to be able to get away right over the pit.
Yep, Celebrity is able to get out with his life, and just a lot of fighting overall. Lots of people actually going down and dying, but Smurf is the biggest winner that eventuates from all of this. Celebrity, just go back to base, man. You had a good run.
Now Smurf's first kill on the game, too, so some much-needed gold for him. He's going to be able to clear and push up topside, but once again, the CIS region, they're hell-bent on fighting this out and bringing a lot of people to the party, but they don't have a tower to show for it.
Yeah, definitely not. And also, the lack of towers that ICE have on their own team means that QTV and Levy are able to do dives like this quite easily. He doesn't really live long here. Kira also comes in and does a whole lot of work again.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to get some revenge, but the problem that Lex has had as Kira gets jumped on and tries to make his great escape, stopped it by the chains and triple teamed. Levy will finish him off, as I was saying. I think Lex's problem is that he thinks he's Tryndamere.
Yeah, maybe. I will have to actually say that wasn't a caster curse, that was a stats person curse, as I just got told that Kira did 42% of his team's damage, and then we promptly come back to watching him die again.
Yeah, well, there's lots of curses in League of Legends. In Assassin mode, you can really never be too sure, as Edward is going to find himself on the wrong end of Celebrity after he hunts him down, starting to scale up here 5-4-4. The Nocturne creeping and crawling towards a positive kill score. Meanwhile, though, Fire is on the mid-inner tier. Alpha Strike from Lex pushes them off for now, but it's not healthy.
Yeah, there's definitely the strategy that Master Yi, if you used to play APE, would have is you Q to a minion as it's dying so you don't actually travel any distance, and you can clear waves and be safe as
Speaking of traveling, woo, buddy, okay. I think Celebrity might have stuck around a bit too long, but this is going to open up the floor to the first dragon of the game. It is a Mountain Drake, available for Team Fire. Levy and QTV make short work of it.
Yeah, and I guess we've already found our answer. How do you win with the Shaco in the team composition? The answer is have Kira in your team. But speak of the devil.
It's a very specific strategy, as you say it.
It just keeps
3 on him.
You know what? That man is actually just being ganged up on. And he needs to wait for his team, the bread man, to help him out.
It's a little bit too late.
It's a good move, though, honestly, from the GPL side. If they want to win this game, they need to take out the strongest and really the only member of the LCL team that has money, and that is Kira.
Well, they're definitely taking advantage of the fact that he is overstepping his own boundaries. Now, good news for the CIS team is they do find themselves an open turret here, but it's taken them a really long time to clear it away, and they're so far behind the curve. This would be their first versus the 4 that the Southeast Asian team have already picked up. So they get 1 turret, they get a little bit of gold for themselves. 17 minutes into this game, it's still very close, but you can see Seed creeping ahead.
You definitely can, and also selfless itemization from QTV and Levy, both going Black Cleaver to complement one another. They're going to effectively be that dynamic duo, and if they get in there first and Nocturne's able to follow it up, he'll be doing a ridiculous amount of damage, to say the least. Things are looking quite good for the GPL team.
Yeah. And Team Ice's hopes in this Assassin mode are starting to dwindle here, as Optimus is going to get outplayed by Kira, who sidesteps from Levy and Ron OP, but the rest of the teams here, they were trying for the Rift Herald, but it's just not nearly as important. QTV taking on Edward in a Pantheon on Pantheon fight, and a double kill goes over to the top laner from the GPL. Zanzara having to poof over to the Krug pit to avoid the damage that's going to follow.
He's going to do Krugs and get spotted by QTV immediately.
I don't know if this is the smartest move. Give some Krugs away.
Now note that Kha'Zix is below him, so eventually they will meet. Or he'll actively avoid them. Either way, they're still winning the game here, for better or worse. Sia doing the right things, getting the structures, getting the gold. And they're effectively a snowballed assassin comp.
But this is what's crazy to think about. You have a LeBlanc that is 10-4 on this map, and you're losing this game. Speaking of that one, let's take a look at what Kira's able to do here.
Because Kira can only really kill one person in a single rotation. He was cooldown locked after this point. He used his ultimate. Again, big outplay, I will say, from the LeBlanc to get the kills. But look at what he can provide from this point onwards, whereas the C region have just got all 5 members doing damage, working as a unit. And I guess it's a bit weird to say 5 assassins working as a unit, but they are. Yeah,
well, I mean, they've taken the tack of, you know, assassins can sometimes work better together. And considering they just have so much more comfort overall in these champions, it's not hard to see why. As Kira does some fancy footwork, he's comfortable enough, but as you said, it's only one man, even if he can make himself look like 2.
2 LeBlancs laughing is atrocious to hear. And they both use their ultimate at the same time.
It's only once a year, Rusty. We can handle it.
It's like if Singed and LeBlanc were in the same game, the amount of laughter you'd get would be absurd.
I actually have experienced that.
Poor soul.
I'm the only one who plays Singed, though, so that I've encountered on the regular. Let's not talk about that, though. It's all about the assassins. We're cresting 20 minutes. We're getting close to it anyways. Ron OP picks himself up the blue buff, and he's definitely had not too terrible a game. And I think it's fair to say that, considering how he climbed a challenger, this is something that's definitely more in his wheelhouse.
I see how this team dynamic works now, though. Ron OP gets the blue buff, Optimus does not. It says a lot when the support's able to get a blue buff as a higher priority. And as we said, that Optimus was losing a lot of damage, as he just got freaked out by Kira.
There's been more of a distraction, if anything else. And Zanzara's coming around the side, but Kira jumps right into 3, and he has to bail out before he's evaporated. Zanzara, they just take out his clone. He escapes, but not for long. Charm goes wide. They find Edward. QTV flashing back out of the way. And the Shroud will keep Team Fire from pushing further into this base, but only for a moment. It's 20 minutes, and they're on the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, the Shroud may stop them. Smurf does well to push them back, but they're also 5 assassins who do not excel at sieging. This is the only opportunity they will have, and it's 10 seconds until Kira and Lex are up.
Well, they can hit this turret down, no problem. They still have some time on the clock. It is a 3v5. Edwards just throwing spears waywardly to see if he can push him off. That's not going to be the inhibitor, but they have cracked the base.
So Kira's going to teleport mid lane. There's no dragon, there's nothing he'll look for. It's more just to get that middle lane turret down. You would expect, however, the health that you can see, thank you spectators, is actually quite high. It does mean they might. You know what? I lied, it's the LCL region. They'll probably just try and Baron.
Yeah, let's go for it. Spend on the rift for about 45 seconds, sounds about right. Get themselves over the wall. Zanzara's going to pop it, and they just blast cone over.
Yep,
sneaky, but this time there was a ward spotting them. So let's see how fast Team Fire can get to the party.
Pantheon does have his ultimate if they get there in time.
He's going for it.
Seeing it now.
They're a little bit low. The man drops incoming. Oh, this Baron is up for grabs. He jumps onto Edward, takes him out. It's Optimus that takes the kill, and all of a sudden, this is not looking like a good plan. The Baron, it's stolen. Levy takes it, and Sea have come up with everything.
And only Kira left alive. You would expect them to be able to push now by having that Baron buff, and the aggressive decision that comes out of the CIS region from the LCL team is not going to work this time, because you know what? GPL were ready. They had a control ward on the pit waiting for him to actually go for it.
Take notes, everyone playing against CIS. Always ward up the Baron pit, give them some time, and then bait them in. But man, as soon as we're talking about Optimus being kind of a distraction for his team, he gets the triple kill, and they steal the Baron away with Levy. That's going to break the base even further, so they take inhibitor number 1, and Kira tried to make the outplay, but there's still 5 men standing on the GPL side, and another double kill for Optimus.
Yeah, there is 5, albeit really low health, and so they will have to back away. You would expect, except for Levy right now, this could be a spicy meatball.
That was a cheeky clear.
He got the best that he could out of it. Smurf definitely is not going to stop looking, but Baron recall, they can completely reset. So now the 5 assassins of the GPL side can look towards that bottom lane inhibitor. That is Bear.
Yeah, they're definitely going very, as far as conservative as you can go when you're playing in assassin mode. 3 Maws. You've got a Rylai's, so you get a little extra health out of that for Ron OP. So they're not getting insta-give. And
so we
you
do
can see
get
what
to
happened here.
Watch this one again. It all starts with the Pantheon coming in. Optimus is the man you have to look towards as he does start picking up these kills. He flashes inside and effectively cherry picks all of the work that Baron had done already for him. Kira the only survivor using a blast plant.
Yeah, and speaking of Kira, I mean, this guy is doing everything he can to keep this game afloat for CIS. We just got word from our stats that he's done twice as much damage as anybody on the SEA team, and they're still getting pushed into base.
I mean, there is 16 kills and he has 11 of them and has been in 13 of them. It says a lot about the work Kira has been trying to do for his team.
He has made one crucial mistake, though. He did not buy that Medjai's.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and then coincidentally he died a lot after we said it, so perhaps it was the mentality of, you know, when you buy a Medjai's, you appreciate that the stacks are really important, and you'll try not to die as best you can. Kira has been having all of the GPL side thrown at him. It's Assassins, maybe Medjai's is risky.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it's a
But
manly item, and he should be a
He wasn't
man.
able to do much. Yes, he absolutely should. And speaking of fun items, you know, we have an Edge of Night finished up by Edward here, who, you know, he's been dropping out of the sky. Unfortunately, he's just not able to stay alive for very long.
And I actually like this item above most of the other AD options. We already said this on the analyst desk, and Mithy pointed this item out in particular. It's an offensive item that gives you something defensive. You can activate it, get your Banshee's Veil, and as Pantheon, activate it and then ult, you will have that Banshee's to stop the Ari Charm or something in this case from stopping, like stunning you down.
Yeah, it's just a little difficult when everybody on the enemy team is at least 2 levels ahead of you, and as no resistance is offered up top, the SEA team is able to take out yet another tower, leading some Baron and powered minions up to the top side. And Zanzara's around the back. We've got Edwards looking to man drop out, but Zanzara's already down, and the chaos is reigning supreme as Smurf pops Ron OP. A double kill, however, goes over to Optimus. SEA, they're looking to finish this one off, or rather bail out of this one as Ice have managed to find the kills that they need.
Oh.
But is it going to be enough? Levy! Oh, that Maw's paying for itself.
That was disgusting. This is why you evolve the Q on Kha'Zix. That's what we've just learned then. And Master Yi, 2-8, has a Phantom Dancer and a Blood Razor. That's not enough crit or damage to actually take the Kha'Zix out.
I mean, that was so much blood. I got juked
Edward
there, and Edwards is going to walk right into Optimus. But who's got who? Woo! Okay.
Nope. Oh, no, you used the clone!
Wait a minute!
All right, now I'm lost.
Classic misdirection.
And the Baron recall is going to be enough, even though he did it on a ward. What a cheeky devil.
Now that was beautiful.
+1 for style points. And I think across the board, style points to be considered here from Ice as they get to engage with the Shaco and Pantheon combo. Eyes are always going to be on Kira, however. Flashing in, getting the 2 distortions is going to be what really determines the outcome of this fight.
Yeah, that was really nice. What I missed the first time around in this fight was the fact that they sent the Shaco clone in, Zanzara himself bailed out, and then all of a sudden, there were no spell rotations for the SEA team because they thought they were popping the Shaco and Kira just had his way with them.
Yeah, exactly right. And being able to live there feels bad, honestly.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the fight done in that, or the damage done in that last fight.
Starting to see more damage from the rest of the team. Zanzara showing why we didn't really want the Shaco to begin with. However, as it progresses, as Shaco gets more items, you'd expect more from him, but a Titanic Hydra is what we have seen. And again, we were talking about this being the man mode of League of Legends, the most exciting, action-packed game mode we can possibly make. And he's gone for a halfway item instead of an Infinity Edge or a Static Shiv on his Shaco to actually get in there.
Desperate times. They're not playing the game out as they might have liked
Doing
in
it
style,
again.
but they're going to go for the same play once again. This time they're ready, and Levy is able to pop Smurf on the back, but QTV is going to pay with his life as well. Zanzara
Levy
taking out his clone and all, and they are going to finish the job and take down all 5. A quadra kill for Levy, and it is all Nexus.
And this should be the game for the GPL side. 1 point back for them, and it's another for Fire, unfortunately. As we look at the standings, Ice, no response, Kira. He tried his absolute hardest.
But it is impressive. A few surprises, though. You didn't see any Katarinas this time around. No Dianas. And Celebrity, I think he found a good niche for himself playing Nocturne, which has been an AD carry champion, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, I mean, Nocturne can still assassinate people. It makes a lot of sense, even though it's weird that he's in the assassin list for what it's worth.
I still think it's weird Pantheon, but we've seen double Pantheons almost every game, so,
Even Master Yi.
Yeah.
Again, he's not exactly an assassin. Shen's closer to an assassin in aesthetic, but definitely not in play style. There's a lot of disparities.
Yeah, definitely true. Well, for more on that one, we're going to go over to Hingers, who's standing by with SEA's QTV.
Thank you, Pyra. I'm here with QTV right now. And first of all, congratulations on the big win. It's good to get one on the board. And I want to ask about your picks. Why did you guys go with Nocturne?
Chúc mừng anh chiến thắng. Thì nếu muốn hỏi sơ về cái lượt pick của anh thì tại sao mình pick Nocturne vậy?
Thì lúc đầu thì tụi mình có chơi cũng thử nhiều cái vị tướng nhưng mà thấy không hiệu quả thì Nocturne mình nghĩ mà khi sử dụng chiêu cuối ra thì sẽ gây hỗn loạn đối phương và đội mình sẽ dễ tập trung mà tiêu diệt một đối phương hơn.
Yeah, so we try a lot of different picks, and finally we came down to Nocturne because his ultimate is really strong. It's disrupted the teammates, and it caused a lot of chaos.
Did that match play out as you expected it to, or were there a couple of surprises along the way?
Thì anh thấy cái trận này mình có dự đoán được hết không, hay là có cái gì bất ngờ không?
Hơi bị bất ngờ tại vì đối phương dùng vị tướng đó là Shaco, thì vị tướng này nó khá phổ biến trong cái đánh không phải đánh xếp hạng, nhưng mà khi mà đấu giải thì vị tướng Shaco thì tụi mình hơi bị bất ngờ về vị tướng đó.
Yes, the biggest surprise is Shaco. Like we probably don't see Shaco a lot these days. So yeah.
Awesome. And finally, I want to ask about your build. You were prioritizing cooldown reduction. Talk us through the strategy behind that.
Thì nói một chút về cái build của anh ha. Thì cái build của anh đang là build tập trung về hồi chiêu nhiều hơn. Thì tại sao anh lại như vậy?
Tại mình nghĩ là cái giai đoạn đi đường thì nó cũng không quan trọng lắm. Mình nghĩ là nên sử dụng hồi chiêu để dành cho những pha comp giao tranh tổng nhiều hơn.
Yeah, so he's prioritized cooldown reduction just because the team fights, not just for the laning phase.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and congratulations on the win. Good luck with the rest of the tournament. It's now time to throw it over to Sifa at the desk to break down that game.
Cool. Thank you very much, Hingers. Of course, we had a lot of questions about that champion select as well. As good as Nocturne worked out, why did we not see Diana?
I really don't know. I mean, she's done so well. It's blind pick, right? So I guess if you're blind picking, seemingly the two champions that we're going to see is LeBlanc and Diana. And if you don't feel super confident playing a melee champion into LeBlanc in the early levels, then why not just pick the same champion and go, okay, well, let's just play range?
Well, I think it was more like they felt confident into playing LeBlanc into Diana than the other way around.
I think that's totally fair. Of course, it did end up being the LeBlanc mirror, but additionally, really odd. Master Yi on the bottom side of the map, and double smite coming in for LCL.
This is the thing that I actually have a bigger problem with, is that double smite. Now, we did see it used creatively, but the thing is you're giving up exhaust, and we heard the players at the top of the day. Exhaust is such a key summoner going into assassin mode because you need something to combat all of that burst damage. So I just think that it was a big question mark.
We saw creative uses. I want to see conventional uses. You have two smites. As Baron's dying, Zanzara doesn't smite, they lose it, it gets stolen away.
I think that the Master Yi pick had a strategy behind it where they would get both buffs and maybe Shaco invades afterwards, but...
Well, the interesting thing there is that was cancelled out.
We did see...
all right.
Okay.
Let's bring it in. Because early game, we did see Southeast Asia play around the double smite very well. We saw the early invade on Kazakhs to make sure that, this early smite wasn't used to successfully take a buff, to successfully get this on. And, I mean, pretty proactive play coming in here.
Yeah, pretty proactive. We saw them go in with the Kazakhs fairly early on, taking away any kind of that cheesiness with that second smite. It was kind of spotted out, but nothing really you can do at this point. If you're assassins this early on, the numbers game is always going to play out in the advantage.
And Mithy, what is the value of getting this blue buff early, taking it away?
It's not really that you gain a value, it's more that you don't lose anything, because I think that what the CIS team wanted to do is to have the Master Yi farm the bot side of the jungle, the Shaco to start on the top side, and then try to duo man invade the Kazakhs and put him off his game. And when Kazakhs has his two buffs and he's secured on at least two sides of the jungle, then he's going to be able to scale well into the later parts of the game. And
yeah, and
Master
of course,
Yi is going to be useless.
Stress, you were critical of some of Lex's smites there, and we saw in that clip too. Failed and just couldn't quite take away the blue buff. Of course, you have a dedicated jungler versus a dedicated AD carry, so a little bit different. But despite how successful Southeast Asia was, I mean, CIS had one beacon of hope, and that was Kira, and he was going off for the entirety of that game.
He was going off. Okay, so my point about LeBlanc wasn't on... my point about LeBlanc is on Summoner's Rift. Kira had a great game to begin with, and this is the strength that LeBlanc does have after the rework. You know, the smart usage of the TP, Mithy, we were talking backstage about that, about how it's a bit of a risky laning pick, but eventually pays off because they get that early advantage.
Yeah, well, it turned out better than expected, you know. I think that he just wanted to be safe in lane, and just in case he goes against something like that he doesn't expect or anything, but he had the perfect TP to go on against LeBlanc, who started with Ignite and just got 2 kills early game and was able to basically snowball the game through that.
Yeah, 45% of the team damage, 1,037 damage per minute. Pretty disgusting stats, but not enough. And I think the big thing here was we saw so many towers drop in the early game in favor of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking on the idea of, you know, the towers dropping as well as having that teleport on LeBlanc and that when she snowballed, you just have this massive pressure game. And the thing is that's really fundamental to the changes of the Vision game as well. Again, there's no sight stones, and we're all playing around Assassin. So as soon as you get control of pressure on one side of the map, there's nothing that... It's dangerous in a Summoner's Rift game. It's even more dangerous against like all of these assassins. You walk into one dark area and instantaneously you're going to die.
Yeah, you're basically shitting your pants. You don't want to move anywhere. It's basically how it is.
I mean, terrifying. One thing that we did see is how strong Kha'Zix was in this game mode. We expected, you know, a variety of junglers, but Kha'Zix honestly coming in huge here.
S tier in this game. Realistically, it's kind of a product of the map play. SEA with the Nocturne pick, they were talking about that. They actually came into an Assassin's game mode and went, okay, we're going to kind of have a strategy and try and play around it, which is better than going, well, we're just going to try and play 5 Assassins with 2 smites and maybe, you know, it was kind of using the fundamentals of how the game works on Vision, controlling areas. And Kira, he can't make picks if he hasn't got the Vision to do it.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to reiterate, like, Kha'Zix, like, he has a superior early game because he's going to have that burst damage. And even when you look at him next to the likes of Rengar is actually not getting a ton out of his passive that he normally would in a Summoner's Rift game just because there's not as much CC. You know, like, that cleanse that really puts Rengar over the line isn't necessarily as viable into this game mode, as well as the fact that he is really good at ganking post-6, not necessarily pre-6. So Kha'Zix just has a much wider window, and this game mode seems to be decided on whoever gets the first gank.
Absolutely. We're going to have to see who's going to get the first gank in our next match because we're going to take a quick break. But first, let's get a local look at one of the squads about to test their might in our final Assassin matchup of the day.
To get a better understanding of the Brazilian All-Star Quintet, let's start with Yang. INTZ top laner started on the team in June 2014, and little by little, he became one of the best in his position. He has 3 CBLOL titles and was part of the all-conquering team that qualified to Worlds this year. Going into the jungle, there aren't too many better. Considered the best League of Legends player in Brazil right now, Revolta was the most popular voted player from the team, with more than 126,000 votes. Going into his second All-Star event, the jungler has already played on CNB and Keyed, 2 of the biggest teams in Brazil, but it was with INTZ that he really made his mark and was chosen to be part of Legends Rising. In the mid lane, showing the big support Pain Gaming has, is Kami. He enjoyed the best campaign ever from a Brazilian team at the World Championship, and he is a true legend. He now returns to another All-Star competing against the best from across the globe in Barcelona. In the bot lane, we have 2 debutantes to All-Stars. AD carry PBO came from the base division of CNB, and in only his first year of CBLOL, impressed everyone. And finally, in the support role, we have the most Brazilian French player in League of Legends, Dude. The Red Canet support was crowned champion with Kami and Pain in 2015 and has represented Brazil on the world stage. Dude has the Brazilian fans' trust to defend their region and show the rest of the world just how dangerous Brazil can be.